We're grateful for the consideration for Bishop's special circumstances, but we're still concerned about the well-being of other English language universities in Quebec.
What the government has effectively done is set us up to fail. They've set objectives which are not realizable. They're not supported by any data.
The measures that the government released today are devastating. I can only view this as a targeted attack on institutions that have been part of Quebec.
I think it's achievable, I really think it's achievable, and we're going to be there to help them. I'm personally going to be there to help, to make sure we deploy and we implement these measures and the Francization plan with all three universities.
A bouquet of reactions following the government's decision to go ahead raising tuition fees, but this time just for McGill and Concordia. So you heard from, in order, Bishops, Concordia, McGill, and at the end you heard Pascal Derry, the higher education minister, defending the decision that was announced via Twitter, X, actually, even to the universities. So for more reaction, I'm joined now by Fabrice Labeau, Deputy Provost for Student Life and Learning at McGill University. Mr. Labeau, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on the show.
So we heard Deep Zaney's reaction yesterday at the press conference. I would like for you to expand. I mean, he said a lot of different things. But how do you feel from this decision and especially its impacts for McGill?
So I think the words catastrophic and devastating have been used, and that's a good reflection of the reality. So not only are we hit by basically the same measures that were announced in October by the minister, and to which we have already said that they make no sense, they're not based on data, they're not consistent. But on top of that, yesterday the minister added a layer. So now the government is asking us to have 80% of our out-of-province students reach level 5 in French by the time they graduate. And frankly, we've said it. It is impossible. I mean, that's not even something that is close to realistic.
So this morning on the Andrew Carter Morning Show, political commentator Tom Mulcair was kind of critical of the way McGill University and Concordia University kind of managed the government relations, public relations battle since the original announcement in October. Could you tell us more of how you at McGill, especially you managed this? What were the interactions with Pascal Derry, with the Quebec government since the initial announcement? And do you feel that you've done everything you could up until this point?
So I think we have, but I would not describe this as a battle. I mean, from the get-go, we, the English language universities, we have been as constructive as we could. We've actually put on the table measures and proposals that were balanced, that would help the government reach its objectives while not penalizing Quebec, the Quebec university system, and its economy. We've indeed tried to put on the table things that made sense, that were constructive, that we were ready to negotiate around. And to be fair, these were measures that were realizable because they had been devised by people who know how the higher education system works. Mm-hmm. So we've tried our best to be constructive. We haven't tackled this as a battle. We haven't received much of a response in terms of a potential for negotiation because when you look at the results, what was announced yesterday is actually worse than what was initially proposed on October 13th.
So I'm interested by what your president said yesterday, talking about that this sends a message that Quebec is not open to the world. And I found this a very important message. I'd like you to expand on the consequences of this decision on McGill, not just immediately, because we know that it's going to send you scrambling to offer French classes and prepare French semesters for foreign students, But ultimately, Pascal Derry is saying, well, no problem here. We'll help them, and they just have to get more students from France and Belgium. How do you react to this type of, there's no there from the Quebec government?
So I think in terms of the long-term consequences for McGill, I think the summary that you mentioned from President Saini makes it all very concrete. We are closing our doors to the world. We did it in two steps. So first, we sent a message to our students from the rest of Canada telling them, we're going to raise the prices here because we don't want you around here. So we close one door, which is the door to the rest of Canada. Now we're telling the rest of the world, yeah, you can come to Quebec, but we'll add one semester of French courses to your curriculum. So you can come, but it's going to be longer than anywhere else in the world. So we're now closing the second door, which is the door to the whole international population. That means that as a province, as a nation, we have decided that we are not interested in these incredible pools of talents, the people we need, because we have a labor shortage in Quebec. We need these talented young people, these intelligent, trained people, but we've decided that it's not the right way to address the real problems of our economy today. Now, the remark about going to France and Belgium to get all of these students, first, I would first say, one, this is not an infinite market in terms of how many international students we can get. Second, what that means is that we will actually be in competition directly with all of the universities in Quebec. So the only thing that this measure would do would be that we, together, all the universities in Quebec would start fighting for the same students. So instead of enriching the system, we'll put the system in even more trouble.
So what's next for McGill? Deep Saini suggested a few weeks ago that maybe McGill would relocate part of its operations elsewhere than in Quebec. What do you think the university is going to be doing over the next few weeks and months? What are the actions, if any, that are planned at this point?
So I think everything we're going to do in the next few weeks and everything that we've done until now has been centered and will be centered on our mission. We have a mission to train the best possible students from around the world. So immediate things that we are focusing on now is what are we going to do come September 2024? Who's going to be at McGill? So our next step is really to go out there and do very active recruitment and find ways in which we will have students come from the rest of Canada, from all the usual international destinations, despite these measures. So we're going to be very active. We're going to reach out to our students, our prospective students, their parents, to tell them, come to McGill. We'll make it work for you despite everything that the government is doing, despite everything that you hear. McGill will remain McGill. Longer term, as the President Saini mentioned, we're leaving all the options on the table. We're really looking at all the possibilities to ensure that we can continue ensuring our mission.
Any reactions from donors or the economic community of Montreal since yesterday?
Some very big actors in the economic community in Montreal have come out several times since October 13th and have come out yesterday too, saying that this is really the wrong kind of measure. I think everything we've discussed in the last few minutes about closing our doors, showing that we're not open for business, not thinking about the economy, the knowledge economy, and the labor shortage that we're facing, these are really counterproductive measures. They're not hurting just McGill and Concordia. They're hurting Quebec and its economy for the long run.
But and donors, any reactions from donors since yesterday's decision?
We've heard from many of our supporters throughout the world. So, as you know, we have alumni in 185 different countries. And over the last 2 months, we've had a lot of reactions where people asking us, wherever we travel in the world, asking us, what's happening in Quebec? What is this news story? So, yes, very strong reactions from a lot of people who are seeing that the McGill that they've known and loved, in a Quebec they've known and loved, is going to be forced to change.
Fabrice Labeau, Deputy Provost, Student Life and Learning at McGill University. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.